All right. So we are not on clarity still. We are still doing the ABCD. And then we are going to the cleaning the samskaras, correct thinking and right understanding. So, I mean, most of us, we have gone through this idea of samskaras, but let's see if any new points come up. Please do interrupt me if you want to share something or if you have any questions. See, today I did not send the reminder to everyone. You guys can see my screen, right? Okay. Imagine a lit candle. In front of that candle, you place a piece of colored glass. The candlelight now shines through the glass. But because the glass is colored, some of the light is filtered out. Add another glass in front of the first one, the different color this time. Even less light shines through. Continue adding glass piece until there are 16. How much light shine through it now? So most of it is filtered out over time. So our now the clean all the impurities that are around the outermost glass and see what happens. So there will be more light coming through. Remove the glass, even more light comes. So you can see sort of an experiment here. So the candle is the soul and the piece of glasses are the chakras. And now we let the soul's light shine through the cleaning by cleaning the system and allowing the chakras to blossom. There's one aspect of looking at it, but truly speaking, how these impressions work. So, what is the store for these impressions? Is the question, correct? And what are these impressions doing to us? Mainly, so when a chakra blossoms, the energy within gently flows into our center of consciousness, our heart. You have to, highlight this aspect, our heart, and we'll understand this sentence a little more. We feel this energy in the form of conditions created in the heart. In this way, we transcend the chakras. More energy flows through and subtler conditions are created. Now here, don't think of energy as an energy. It is the light of the soul. Think of it like that. I mean, if you see the base of our physical existence is the mental body. You can call it as a mental body or the subtle body. And the base of the subtle body is the causal body. And base of the causal body is the soul. So the essence of the soul, which makes all these alive in a sense, that light which is coming through the soul, the essence which is coming through the soul, and giving the life to all the other bodies above it. You can treat that essence as an energy. Okay. So that energy, I mean, the consciousness is also somehow it gains its, you can say power or energy only because of the existence of the soul. If the soul is removed, I mean, which cannot be removed as per our scriptures, it is never born, never destroyed, never die. There is no death to the soul, it is eternal. So there is no ending to it. But even the consciousness comes into its life because of the soul only. It is able to function, it is able to bring that awareness because of the soul only. So the crucial element, removal of samskaras or impressions that clog the chakras and energy channels. So think of these energy channels is where the prana, the life force is moving. By now, you have a good understanding of samskaras and how they form. So the energy is basically used as a, so that it's easy to for people to understand. So you can think of it as the prana, the life force within is moving through these chakras. By now, you have a good understanding of samskaras and how they form. We already talked about it. So the simply put, right? Suppose you have to, if I have to use some kind of an annotation, think of a glass jar and fill the glass jar with water, or fill the glass jar with sand. So the sand is filled in the glass jar, and you pour water into it, right? And so the water is still there as long as the sand is there in the glass jar. There is no free movement to this uh, water particles, correct? It cannot move freely. Now, as I remove the sand from it, and there's only water remains in this glass jar, what happens? If there's only water, right? This water is free to move. The water particles in the jar are free to move. When there is a sand, it is not able to move. Its freedom is gone. So same thing. Think of water is synonymous to consciousness, and the sand in the jar as impressions. So how the impressions blocks the movement of consciousness, or its vibratory level is altered, correct? So that's what the impressions does to the consciousness. But consciousness is still there, it has to function. I mean, so but it functions in a manner, I mean, it is not fully functional, you can say, because the impressions are impeding its function. That means the consciousness is distorted. That means our awareness is also distorted. So we don't know. We don't know that it is distorted awareness. Suppose, I mean, you talk to an insane person. I mean, just to give you an example, you can, I mean, from your perspective, that person is insane. But whatever that insane person's consciousness is permitting, for him, it's all reality. And he thinks we are insane. Now it is difficult to say who is really insane. That's why there are so many perceptions in a way, right? Different perceptions, different people have different tastes, a different understanding. Everyone is looking at the same thing, but everyone gives a different interpretation. All this is because of the distorted consciousness. If the consciousness is distorted, we all would be seeing the thing in the same way. We all would be perceiving the situations in the same way. So these impressions, these impressions are influenced by many factors. One is our own impressions, and there is also collective consciousness and the impressions around the collective consciousness. Everything has a role to play. Got it? So that is why it is important to clean the samskaras, impressions, so that one, our perception is improved. Two, the function of the prana, the life force, the way it moves in the body, regains its normality or balance. So that's why if you understand the real practice of spirituality is we don't become anything extraordinary. All that it happens is we become balanced and normal. That is the side effect. Of course, we are moving towards the goal. At the same time, by removing the samskaras, it allows our consciousness to expand. How? Because we have this thin layer of consciousness, and below it there is a huge state of subconsciousness, and above it there is a supra consciousness. So our consciousness, available consciousness, is sandwiched, and there is no way to expand this aware consciousness because on the bottom is all filled with impressions. This entire subconsciousness, think of it as all past. This is all past and present. So there is only past and present in when it comes to the consciousness. The past is the subconsciousness and present is the aware consciousness. What is above, we can call it as supraconsciousness, but it will never be available to us. The only time when we start clearing these impressions, when these impressions are cleared, as they are cleared, our consciousness now start expanding. Because the expansion has to be bidirectional. Then we are moving into this supraconscious state. Now that becomes our present state. You got it? So then our available consciousness is increasing. As our available consciousness increases, the result of the available consciousness expanding, what the word which Babuji and our teachers, masters use is this expansion of consciousness. Because of this expansion of consciousness, we are able to perceive the subtle conditions of this prana or the transmission, subtle conditions created by meditation. Otherwise, we might be meditating, but because there is no cleaning, the consciousness cannot expand. Because there is no expansion of consciousness, the condition created by meditation goes waste because we can never connect to it. So now you understand the cleaning of the samskaras, impressions, correct? So even like, when we are praying to God, Lord, the answer is always there. But the answer falls on the deaf ears because there is no expansion of consciousness. So even for our prayers to be answered and to perceive the answer, we need this expanded consciousness. So often we wonder why we never get any response when we pray. But the response is there, but there is no one to hear it. If there is no one to hear it, there is no answer given. So there are many ways to clean samskaras. We're getting into the aspect of this cleaning of the samskaras. So I said earlier, there are many ways to clean oneself and let go of the past. So because subconsciousness, as I mentioned, or the impressions are in the subconscious state, or that means basically they are all past impressions. You cannot have any future impressions. So besides cause and effect, the other options are active interventions. So there is a natural cause and effect where the samskaras are being cleaned in many ways. And I believe sometime back, Chariji mentioned that even the dreams we get are the mind is trying to purge these samskaras through dreams. So there are regression therapies, but regression therapies also, I don't think they are very effective in cleaning the samskaras, other than recognizing and realizing the past impressions. And self-hypnosis and all these things are very, very, rudimentary way of cleaning samskaras. And sometimes self-reflection, all these things, but it's still a sort of mental exercise. But doing our own cleaning, this is something we need to focus on. Doing our own cleaning, that's our regular cleaning. When we take, individual one-on-one sessions from a prefect, if you are want to do it at your free time, the Heartfulness provides this app, use this app. Someone will be giving you an individual session. Most of the work is cleaning. So there's a lot of cleaning happens in our practice. And while meditating, we can see that cleaning is, especially when you're taking sittings, that you'll have gush of thoughts for a while when the cleaning is happening. And that will tell you basically the cleaning is taking place. So the difference between the thoughts which come during the cleaning when you are taking individual sittings versus general, regularly we are always thinking. Especially when you sit in front of a trainer and getting this cleaning, you'll have gush of thoughts. That means you're not staying on one thought for a long time. Normally, when you're thinking, you are basically stretching a thought process. You're thinking about something which attracts your attention, whether it's a situation, a TV drama, or a political scenario, or what's going in your life, whatever. You are thinking about one thing. But especially during the cleaning, you're not staying on one single thought. You're moving from one thought to the another thought. It's like your mind is rattling, right? So you will observe that. So that basically tells you that there's a cleaning taking place. So you'll get flash of images. Sometimes you recognize them, sometimes you don't recognize, you're not aware of why that thought came to you, but it is all past impressions. So that tells you that cleaning is happening while you're taking one-on-one sessions. So the cleaning and meditation help you understand the cause and effects. They rise the height from which you are looking at the situation. And now you have a better picture of the surroundings. Earlier, you are in a valley and now you are higher. So cleaning and meditation nurture understanding. Samskaras are erased because of understanding. It is through understanding that we let go of past. But one aspect before we close today, one aspect I would like to highlight, in spite of this, all these great things we are talking about, I mean, especially for the folks who have been practicing for a while, they might observe that the people sometimes this whole process seems ineffective. The only reason why we kind of feel that, I mean, especially not about us, we can never, the self reflection is very difficult. But when you're looking at other people, oh, this guy has been practicing for 10 years, 15 years, and why are they like that? Their attitude did not change much. Their um, reaction to situations did not change much. Their observation capacity did not change much. How is not the system helping you? This question arises, and this came to me, especially past 1 year, several times from different people. The only explanation I can think of is because we have to follow the method regularly and correctly. And Daji always emphasized on the attitude with which we take up this practice. And one is we need to clearly understand why we are practicing, why we are doing, and how we are doing, and apply the method as prescribed and regularly. So I might say I'm practicing for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, but there is not certain inclination or regularity in the practice. Am I doing it? I'm doing it for the doing sake. That's why we don't see the effect of the system. So we have to use the system effectively, any system for that matter. Okay, I'm going to exercise every day. What am I doing? I'm walking on the treadmill for 2 hours. At what pace? It matters. It matters how we take up the method. I'll say I'm walking for 2 hours every day on the treadmill, but I'm not losing weight. So at what pace are you walking? Makes a difference. So we have to use this practice to make that difference. Just, because I'm practicing, I'm doing it for not know why I'm doing it and how I'm doing it. So the effect is lost. So it is important to bring that interest. So there are only two important aspects in spirituality: taking interest in yourself and bringing right attitude to the practice makes this practice more effective. Okay, with that, I'll stop. Any observations, comments, questions before we get into meditation?
I like the sand jar analogy that you gave regarding the movement of the water.
Thank you.
Loved it. Thank you.
All right, so we're good. So I'll stop the recording and then we get into meditation.